Once again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this official launch of Soul Suites Belize. This is a property that Job and I are so incredibly excited to share with you because, as I was just saying, it's really hitting the market at the right time. There are not many affordable properties in San Pedro on Ambergris Caye with attractive seller financing coming fully furnished as a brand new property. And this is one of those. So once again, thank you everybody for joining us. If you have any questions, feel free to type that into the Q&A section of the control panel, and we'll be answering all questions at the end. So with that, I would like to introduce Job to you. Job has been one of my good friends here on the island. Job, since what, 2017, maybe 16? It's felt like forever. But
It's felt like forever, yeah.
Job and I are actually like technically competitors in the space. I'm with Luna Realty and Job is with Keller Williams. However, together we've branded to bring you the Gringa and Local Belize podcast, or Belize Realty rather, which is what we're sharing this information to you through. So Job, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Hey guys, that's me here. Can you see me?
We see the ground though.
Give me 1 second. Let me see. Can you see me now?
Nope, we got to grow a couple more inches, Job.
Maybe more or good?
No, we don't see you at all.
Oh
We
crap.
saw
Let me
you
see.
before. Yeah, we saw you before, but then I think maybe pushed it up a little bit.
Okay, let me just make sure I rework this tripod thing. Apologies.
You are. Yeah, there you are. Perfect. Oh, go down, 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 down.
Can you see the stairs there?
No, we see your face. I think you forgot to flip it around, maybe.
Ah, okay. Yeah, my bad, guys.
Oh,
Can you
yeah,
see
there
the
we go.
front? Okay.
Job's on
All
site.
right.
Yeah, Job's on site there. Now we see you. Perfect.
Hey guys, so my name is Job. For the ones who don't know me, I'm just a local real estate agent here in the island. You probably have seen my YouTubes too as well, along with Rachel. And I'm glad to be here, and I'm looking forward to truly showing you these units and also giving you that comfort in being able to buy a great piece of property here in Belize, a property that I wholeheartedly believe in and that I think is going to be a wonderful investment for you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Job. And Job has a special walkthrough for us in a little bit here. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit more information about the property, and then we are going to jump right into that virtual tour. My name is Rachel Jensen. I'm the broker owner of Luna Realty Belize. I made my way down here to San Pedro back in 2012 when I had a job opportunity with a real estate developer here on the island. Ultimately, stopped working with the developer back in 2022 and started my own real estate brokerage. And as I mentioned, Job and I have known each other for probably close to a decade at this point. Job and I were the founding members of the Rotaract Club here in San Pedro. Job was the president, and I sat on the board in some position. And over time, as Job was working a very, very important job at Elsie's liquor store. And if you've been on the island or you're from the island, you know what a great shop that is, serving many people here on the island and tourists, but over time decided to focus full time on real estate. And I know when I branched off from being in the development perspective, Job really helped to guide me as I was setting up my company and ensuring that I was doing things right and making sure that we were following the processes that were standard here in Belize. So with that being said, welcome again to the session. We have 3 segments of the presentation. Number 1 is what you need to know about Belize before owning real estate here. Number 2 is we're going to be introducing Soul Suites to you and taking a virtual tour through the property for those who are not able to be here in person. And then we're going to be answering your questions live. So again, find that Q&A section of your control panel, type in your questions, and that's where we'll be answering them. So if you haven't had a chance to visit before, Belize is a small country about the size of Massachusetts, bordering Guatemala and Mexico. For years, it's been overlooked because of the small size of it. Right now, population is about 400,000, but the island, specifically Ambergris Caye, and the country more generally of Belize, really started gaining traction and popularity in the 70s as a prime fishing and diving destination. It was definitely a destination for the adventure travelers. And over time, over the last 40, 50 years, we've seen this incredible morph in tourism here on this island of Ambergris Caye. Tiny, tiny island off the coast, but it's the #1 tourism revenue producer for the entire country of Belize. Today, many people are still coming down from the adventure perspective to fish and snorkel and all of that, but also to live and relocate, because there's an incredible community here in San Pedro on Ambergris Caye of expats, tourists, locals who coexist so well together and help create home away from home that you may be spending time away from. So what you need to know about Belize real estate, if you have not purchased real estate here in Belize before, these are very important tidbits for you as a foreigner to know. #1 is you do receive title to your property in Belize as a foreigner. It's going to be very important, though, that you're working with a closing company or escrow company so that they can do the title check to make sure it is a legitimate parcel of land that's being sold. But once that due diligence is completed, they give the go-ahead, then you, at closing, will receive the title. In addition to that, there's some really nice and beautiful advantages, I would say, to owning real estate in Belize. #1 here is that there's zero capital gains tax. So that's really great, especially as we're seeing properties continue to appreciate here on the island over and over. With that being said, like example, if you're purchasing one of the Soul Suite condos today for $100,000, you're selling it in a few years for $150,000, there's 0% capital gains on that $50,000 gain. In addition to that, there's low business tax. If you're planning to rent out your property, it's taxed at 1.75%. 1.75%, making it some of the lowest in the region for income tax. In addition to that, English is the official language here in Belize. So I didn't need to translate this presentation. When we send out sales paperwork, we don't need to go to a translator or anything along those lines. With it also being a British Commonwealth country, we tend to be able to understand the contracts because it's very similar to what's being produced in North America. With that being said, Ambergris Caye that we mentioned is the #1 destination in the entire country for tourism and also for expats. This island is about 26, 27 miles long population-wise, or about 35,000 during high season. As we mentioned, it's a very popular place for the snorkeling, diving, fishing, and the big reason for that is because the reef, which if you can follow my cursor, is right here. This is the largest living reef in the world, paralleling the coast of Ambergris Caye. And you can see these different hot spots. These are dive spots all throughout, scattered throughout the reef over here. Within 5 minutes, you're off the shores of Ambergris Caye and you're there into the water. If you're not a water bug, this is also still a very popular destination for people. We have get around by golf carts here. It's very charming. It's also very family friendly. Now, if you are planning to come to San Pedro and you haven't been here before, or maybe you haven't done as much of the touristy activities, I would absolutely recommend a trip to Holchan and Shark Ray Alley. Those are 2 dive sites here on the southern side of the island. Incredible marine life there, and you're guaranteed to see nurse sharks, stingrays. Not going to always guarantee a turtle, but you have very high chances of seeing the sea turtles. In addition to that, you can grab a bite to eat at the water at Blue Bayou. And that's at the Secret Beach property over here. That's the picture from the bottom right-hand side. I know it's one of our favorite establishments, Job, Evelyn. We love going to Blue Bayou and grabbing a bite to eat and having a cold cocktail. And then, of course, visiting ACES Wildlife Rescue. This is probably one of the newer activities here on the island, but ACES is the wildlife rescue team here on Ambergris Caye. They have a facility about 1.5 miles, 2 miles north of the bridge. So in this general area right over here. And you're actually able to go and tour their facility. You're able to see the crocodiles that they have, the resident crocodiles there. You're able to see what they're doing, what they're up to. And they are a nonprofit. So of course, donations are always welcome there, but it's a great activity to do, especially if you have kids coming here to the island. So Ambergris Caye continues to remain the #1 place in Belize for tourism. And again, like we talked about, the expat population as well. Boating is, of course, one of the best things that is happening here. All the water activities, the fishing, the diving, the snorkeling, the laid back atmosphere. The number of times I get people who reach out and they maybe it was their first time, second time, however many times they've been on Ambergris Caye, and they say, I have a sleeping problem in the States. I don't know if it's stress or what's going on. But the moment I get to Ambergris Caye, I'm able to sleep for 8, 10, 12 hours a night, and it's magical. And I think a lot of that just comes with the de-stressing and learning to unload everything that's going on in your home country to come here, live at a slower pace, a slower way of living. You're going to find that things go slow here, but as soon as you adjust your mentality, you'll see you don't need all of the stresses that you may have in your home country. But Ambergris Caye, these are the numbers from 2025 so far when it comes to tourism. from June through, or January, let's just say January up here, January through June. This is pulled directly from the Belize Tourism Board website. So you can go back, you can see 2024 numbers, 23, 22, 21, every single year. San Pedro, which is the primary town on Ambergris Caye, but often used synonymously for Ambergris Caye, is the biggest, has the largest number of tourists coming to this destination. So 91,000 people have visited for the first half of the year. When you look at the bottom line over here, comparing that to the other destinations, they really don't even come close. So if you're thinking rental opportunity, rental potential for your property, this continues to grow year after year. Or if you're even just considering appreciation, investment of your property, this is a great place to do it because there continues to be a demand here on the island. So let's talk a little bit more about the location where Soul Suites is located on Ambergris Caye. If you can follow my cursor here on the bottom right-hand side of the screen, you see a green hexagon. That's the bridge. Now, about 5.5 miles north is the Mata Grande area. I'd say 4.5 to about 6 miles north. This is called the Mata Grande neighborhood, the Mata Grande area. And within this area, there's some of the best hotels, some of the best dining in the world. But a lot of people tend to gravitate towards the north side of the island because this is where the development is moving. This is where the progress is going. This is where more infrastructure improvements have been coming. And as you see, you can compare the north side of Ambergris, the south side of Ambergris. There's a lot more land in the north side. So it just makes sense and that a lot of that movement is happening on the north side here. Prices have continued to get more and more expensive year after year. And especially this stretch over here, because of the proximity to Secret Beach, the proximity to town, we're seeing it's continuing to become a desirable area. Now, one thing I want to point out too, this is so cool. This is a coconut farm right over here. Pop's Nuts is what they're called, but this is a coconut farm, and you'll see that in a couple of my highlights here on the screen. But within the neighborhood, mile 4 to about 5.5, 6 is the Mata Grande area. And this is where you have the small luxury hotel, Mata Chica. Their world-class dining is Mambo, Hidden Jewel, which is another popular Airbnb and rental resort. They also have a fantastic restaurant there. They also have a pool. So even if you're not staying there, but you're consuming at their restaurant, you're able to visit their pool. And also scattered along the coast of this area, you're going to find high-end coastal homes. They tend to be in the Airbnb rental programs. They cost many, many dollars per night, but you do tend to get a very big space. Here's an example of Water's Edge. This is an Airbnb over in this area over here. And Water's Edge is just a pristine home, but you do find many of those in this area. Also within Mata Grande, you tend to have larger lots. So the standard lot size in Belize or along the coast is usually like 50 by 100. These lots are typically 100 by 100 within the Mata Grande area. So you have those larger luxury homes just a stone throw away from Soul Suites. Soul Suites, you can see here on the top left of the map, is within this area over here. So you're very, very close to the Caribbean. But you can also see on the left-hand side, you have really beautiful views of the mangrove and also the sunset. So I'm really excited about this property after being here for 13 years and seeing the opportunities, seeing the prices. It was like we took a step back 10 years ago when it came to the pricing because we haven't seen these prices in a long, long time on the island. So you made it to Soul Suites right over here. This is the Soul Suites property. And then Mata Chica, which I was talking about before, that's this property right over here. So let's jump right in. Soul Suites, it consists of 24 titled condos. The first floor is all 1 bedroom. The second floor is studios and 2 bedroom. And then the top floor, which is probably my favorite floor, there is all 2 bedrooms with large verandas. Now, this property is actively under construction. It is slated to open Q1 of 2026. So we're about 5-6 months away from having this property be ready for you to be occupying. However, the developer, it's a local businessman here in Belize. He already runs a very successful resort on the island. And what he realized is also the same thing we were just talking about, is this big hole in the market when it comes to affordable properties. So it comes turnkey, completely furnished, fully furnished, ready to rent out. Or if you want to move in, then you can do those too. Yeah, you can certainly do that too. This is the mood board when it comes to Soul Suites. Because we don't have the furniture in yet, we can't obviously show you a finished property. However, when we were meeting with the developer, They were showing us the inspiration of what they're going to be doing into the interior of the unit. So this gives you some sort of idea, more of a modern feel, tropical modern feel is what you can be expecting when it comes to the interiors of the units. So we have a few different model types. There's studios, 1 bedrooms, and 2 bedrooms. The studios start at 109, the 1 bedrooms start at 99, 2 bedrooms start at 189, but then all of the top floor 2 bedrooms on the third floor with large 500 square foot verandas, those start at 239. When you take a look at the site map over here, you can see the additional amenities that are planned. So this is the building right over here. There is a pool, a swimming pool, also a pool bar, the pool deck. In this area right over here, the developer is going to be putting a sunset boardwalk as well. So you're able to sit out there under the umbrellas, watch the sunset. And then also there's 2 more buildings that are slated to be within this development here, building 2 and building 3. So coming in under the first building, obviously people who come first tend to get the better prices and the better opportunities, and also the better locations within the building. So this is our first official launch of the property. I know Job had a client a couple of days ago that walked through and actually did reserve one already, but other than that, you're getting the first look at this property. I'm really excited about it because I do, like we said, see so much potential. Now, I have the floor plans all laid out, but I'm going to do even better since Job is there on site. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and Job, give you the chance to show your screen and give us a virtual walkthrough of the property. Can you hear us? Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
I can. Can you see my screen? Can you see the camera good?
Perfectly. I'm
Well,
going
as you
to
can
mute myself.
see right here, guys, we gave the team of construction guys a couple hours off for today because they were out here just hammering and doing their stuff. So they're probably happy they get a couple free hours off of the day. But right now I am in the south side of the building, the one that gets the shade in the afternoon. So that's good to know because I was like, you know what, I don't want to be in the sun all afternoon. And in this, let me just go quickly up here. We are in the first floor. So the first floor will be consisting of 12 1 bedrooms. I will be giving you a tour of what an unfinished 1 bedroom is right now so that you can have that idea of what it is. So bear in mind, key points to know is 250 square feet of space for the 1 bedrooms in the bottom floor. And as I remove my phone from the tripod, we'll walk up all the way to the lagoon front. So we will start off, we have the lagoon front here. As the first floor, you don't have as high up views of the lagoon. Right in front of here, don't worry, this will be beautified. There will be a beautiful boardwalk along with sitting area for you to be able to enjoy the lagoon front. Important thing to notice that this lagoon front is not accessible by boat. So that's one thing to highlight. You have 1 bedrooms lagoon front view units, and then we classify another 8 of them that are in between as interior 1 bedrooms. And then you have the 2 at the very end that will be classified as full roadside 1 bedroom. So giving you a look here of what the roadside's looking like. This here will be the designated parking space. For each unit will have a designated parking space. I'll let Rachel talk about the amenities later on, but I will be showing you, and apologies as if some of it doesn't look as great. Remember, this is an active construction site. So we will be showing you one of the 1 bedroom models at this point. Entrance, as you come on in, you first have the kitchen area that will be in this area. You have also the air condition. You have a small living room area here. And right now I'll be panning the camera out here. As we're going through this 1 bedroom, remember that this 1 bedroom is 250 square feet. There is a difference between the interior units because, for example, this one here will have an ensuite bath. So ensuite bath right here. I probably should go to one to the next side to show you that bathroom a little clearer. Let me actually go out to the north side. So I guess you will be able to see the north side of the building. So basically here, this is the same, just excuse the mess. This is the same as the living room kitchen area. And you have the bedroom. And as of now, this here will be the bathroom. So important is that the interior units will have the bathroom ensuite, while other ones will have it outside. Let me show you what the view in the north side is like. You remember what the master plan looked like? This will be the other lots in that area. And I'll be showing you a bit more. You see all of it. One of the things that I also need to highlight about this building, that you are looking at full concrete build. You're not looking at, you know, foam concrete. No, this is the good old block and concrete. And the view here of the lagoon front. So this is for the one bedrooms. They're going to be nice, cozy, 250 square feet of space, a great starting point for you if you want to be here in the island. All right, Rachel, I'll let you keep going.
All right, fantastic. And you're going to take us up to the third floor, I think, Job, in the second floor. So folks, you'll be able to see it as well. But as you can see, they are indeed cozy units, however, very incredibly functional. I'll pull up the floor plans as well, just to get a better look at that while Job gets up to the next floor. This is the first floor that Job was just showing us. And you can even see there are a couple variations of one bedrooms. They're not all equal. They're not all laid out the same. In fact, some of them have the bathroom outside in the main area, whereas others, like number 3, for example, has an ensuite bathroom off of the master bedroom. So it is going to be important for you to take a look at the plans to see which unit best suits you based on what you're looking to accomplish. As Joe mentioned, this is probably the best opportunity that we found to get your foothold here in the door and on Ambergris Caye, with prices getting as expensive as they are. It's very challenging to find these sort of prices here. But again, it's going to be incredibly efficient and well laid out. Job, you're getting up to the second floor, right? I think you can hear me.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
okay.
Give me like 1 minute and I'll be able to complete the tripod setup.
Oh, sure, no problem. Okay, so I'm going to show everyone the floor plans for the second floor. So this is what Job is walking into now. So as you can see, the studios and then the 2 bedrooms, this is on the second floor. So there are no studios on the first floor and there are no 1 bedrooms on the second floor. Now the studios, personally, I think actually have a bit of a better feel to them because there's not that door, or the wall rather, separating between the bedroom and the living space. It just creates a little bit of a bigger feel without having that wall there. Now, the 2 bedrooms, well, looks like Job's up there. All right, I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to stop sharing my screen because they say pictures worth 1,000 words, better than my floor plans over here. I'm going to stop sharing, Job, and you're up.
All right, so we are in the second floor. Let me just quickly fix this up. All right, we're in the second floor. We are in the front part of the building. You'll have the 2 bedrooms, which are going to be lagoon view. You'll have a studio, and then you'll have the same replica on the opposite side of the building where you have studios and then another 2 bedrooms. With that said, I will show you what the studio looks like. The thing to note about the studio that it's 242 square feet of space, a little bit about the same size of the 1 bedrooms. As Rachel mentioned, they're just open. I personally like this model. Apart from that, that in the second floor, you're already getting beautiful lagoon views, as you can see from my background. Yesterday, we had phenomenal sunsets. Right now, today will be a little bit more cloudy, so might not be as clear. But let me take you out and see and show you the studios, right? So back to it. This is the first studio as you can see it. The good thing about it is that the kitchen area will be a little larger because it's holding throughout kitchenette. So that'll be the kitchenette. The bathroom will be right here too as well, as you can see. And then you'll have the living room area right in front of you, bedroom, TV, and a small little dining area. Nothing, nothing big, nothing huge, but it will work for the investor or the buyer who's just wanting a foothold. I believe, if we recall, these are 109 US starting at. Same with the one in the next side. As you can see, they're identical. And the bathroom. And then right now we will be showing you the beauty of the 2-bedroom. So the lagoon front 2-bedroom. So the lagoon front 2-bedroom will be 500 square feet. So double the size of the 1-bedroom. You'll have kitchen area. You'll have living room area. Let me turn around from the opposite side so you see what it's looking like. Living room area. You'll have the lagoon front facing bedroom. Smaller window, but still very much view. TV setup. Setup for the 2nd bedroom. And then small closet space along with the bathroom. The great thing is bathroom isn't en suite to any of the units, so you'll be able to access from both rooms, whatever you choose. Live in, use one full bedroom, keep the other one as office, closet space, another bed, living room area, and then you'll have the veranda in front for the lagoon front, where you can have a small table with chairs to enjoy this phenomenal view. Remember, the lagoon front will have a beautiful boardwalk, so you can be downstairs if you like. All right, Rachel. So this is the 2nd floor. Rachel can share the floor plan and explain what's where everywhere.
Perfect. All right. So Job is walking up the stairs. So we just saw the 2-bedroom and then also the studios. Now we're going to come up to the 3rd floor, which is where Job is walking up to. And you will note that there are only 4 units on the 3rd floor. They're all 2-bedroom. And the layout of this 2-bedroom is actually a little different. Instead of having the bathroom in the middle of the 2 rooms, it is pushed over here to the side. Now, what we really like about the 3rd floor is the fact that all of this space that you see is veranda, and this will be private veranda for the person who owns this specific condo. It is about 500 square feet. So you do have about double the amount of space. Interior and exterior are about the same. So about 1,000 square feet of total space here. You can do so much with this property, with this area here. You can put a pergola out there. You can put your barbecue. You can do a little bodega if you want. But we recommend that if you have any friends or family or anyone who you want to go in on this with, that perhaps you can each own one on the north and south side. And then that way we can enclose the entry right over here. And then you're able to share all of that space together. So again, this will be private. It's not going to be accessible to the entire property. But the other benefit about this 2-bedroom is that it has washer dryer hookup. So the 1st and the 2nd floor will have a shared shared washer dryer room, whereas on the third floor, these two bedrooms all have their own washer dryer space. And I see Job made it up. So I'm going to mute myself and you show us around, Job.
All right. So I guess when it comes to real estate, it let me all right. So when it comes to real estate, it's all about views, right? So as you can see, the ginormous balcony that you will be having on this two-bedroom third floor. All of this here could be your bed space. Ignore the pipe. The pipe isn't going to be there when the units are finished. But basically, this here would be the half that you would be able to use. So you're looking at being able to do so much with this. Remember, there's only 4 units in this third floor, so very limited. One of them has actually been reserved already, but you can be the one who get the rest. And one of the things that I will highlight about the inside, let me just quickly show you the views from up here. Phenomenal, right, guys? You get almost a 180 complete view of the beautiful lagoon area here. This is just breathtaking. And picture the other phase 2 along with the pool and phase 3 over there, right? Now, the phenomenal part of these units is that something Rachel did not mention is that the windows are a lot bigger for them. So you'll be looking at having phenomenal lagoon front views from your bedrooms too as well. Difference is that the dividers on these will be made out of, I forgot the material name, but they're not fully concrete. The entire building is full concrete from the roof to the walls. Again, layout-wise, you're looking at kitchen area right here. Kitchen area. And we have the exact plans that will show you how everything will fit together. Living room area right here. The beautiful lagoon views. The second bedroom right here. Then you'll be having the washer dryer hookup along with the bathroom. And just for reference, so you can see what is the big difference. This is what we will call the roadside, same model, and the balcony space. But don't worry, because let me show you something. You still have some lagoon view from these back units. It's not as given as the front ones, of course, but you have that view still in this third floor in the back. This view here is also pretty phenomenal. And what I love about this one back unit is that it will have a beautiful.
Oh, I think we just lost Job. I don't know what he was going to say there, folks. So I can't tell you what is going to be beautiful about it. But when he comes up, we'll be able to see what he was saying. But he did mention that his one client reserved this one. This is on the west facing side, on the south. So north, south. This would be the sunset side. You do from the east side, obviously, have the sunrises as well. So you can see there is a bit of a difference. He highlighted to you the kitchen, the living area, and then the bathroom here is going to be on the side versus there in between the two bedrooms. Now, like we said, they are cozy. There he is. These units are cozy here. So, if you want to live in one of the bedrooms and then you can have the other as an office, a guest bedroom, or perhaps have it for when friends and family come to visit, you can do that too. All right, Job's back. I'm going to stop my screen and go ahead, Job.
All right, guys, sorry. But yeah, you have the beautiful view here in the back, and you can call this an also a pretty awesome view. You're not gonna have beachfront views from here, that's for sure, but the shade on this back unit that you will have all afternoon will be phenomenal. While in this one, you still also have that sunset peak. Sunsets usually happen right around here, as you can see where the sun is. So yes, that is the entire walkthrough of the 3 floors. So go ahead, Rachel, take it from here.
No, you did a fantastic job there, Job. And so, folks, as you can see, it's a little bit different. Each floor plan is a little bit different per floor. Each view is a little bit different per floor. I think we probably all agree that from the third floor, you have the best views, but it really just depends on what your ultimate goal is. Now, something that the developer is doing that we do not see across the board here, and if you are a foreigner, so you're not Belizean, you may or may not know this already, that it is near impossible for foreigners to get local bank financing here. So, in the States, Canada, typically we anticipate 10, 20% down over a 30-year period, maybe 4, 5, 6% interest. That doesn't exist for foreigners here in Belize. So what happens is it's up to the seller to decide if they want to offer seller financing or not. If they do that, you're not going through a bank. In this case here, the developer is willing to do seller financing, and I don't have it written down out, but it is indicated here on the screen that he's willing to do 75% financing over a 10-year term with 10% interest, no prepayment penalties. You can start paying down the principal so that you have a smaller amount at the end, but it does give you that option and that flexibility to really be able to afford a property here on the island comfortably. So this is an example of the Solara 1 bedroom going for 115. This is lagoon facing, and amount down, only 25% down would bring you to about 29,000. Your loan amount with the seller is going to be close to 87,000. Your interest rate at 10%, amortized over 10 years, not interest only, would bring your monthly payments to $1,139.90 per month over that 10-year period. And this is the example, the one facing the lagoon that Job was showing us before. So you do have the bathroom outside of the bedroom. So you can see here a little bit better of the layout. Now let's look at the Solstice Deluxe. This is on the 3rd floor, the 2-bedroom that has that washer dryer there and has a ton of outdoor space. This is for the lagoon facing 3rd floor, going for 259, about 500 square feet plus about 500 square feet of veranda space. When you put down 25%, that comes out to about 65,000. Your loan amount will be for about 195,000, interest 10% over a 10-year term. Your monthly payments are going to be about 2,600 US per month. So it's important to note that this developer is able to accept US dollars. You can do like a Zelle or a transfer like that. Or of course, he'll accept Belize dollars if you're here in Belize. So just finding more ways to make it affordable. In addition to that, I think we mentioned this, but all of the furniture does come included. So you don't have to worry about trying to source couches and bed frames and all of that. I know that is absolutely a scavenger hunt in Belize. It takes a little bit of patience. So having that done for you is just so convenient. And because the developer already is running a successful resort here on the island, he is going to be offering rental management program within this property. So if you want to rent out the property, be it long-term or on a nightly basis, you can certainly do that. And they're happy to do that. The rental management fee is a 70-30 split, 70% to you, 30% to the management company. Very fair, I think. And they have that experience, the expertise, and their hotel is actually located a stone throw away from this property. So they'll be able to share resources too, which makes it a lot more convenient. So we only have those 2 examples here. If there's a specific unit that you want to see the breakdown for, please reach out to Job or me, and we'd be able to get those details, the financing schedule over to you to look at what that financing schedule would look like. All right, let's just highlight why Soul Suites truly is a standout property. Number 1 is the experience in the industry by the developer. This is a seasoned Belize businessman. As we've mentioned before, he saw the hole in the market, and now he is catering to that hole in the market by offering a property like this to folks. Number two, we talked about this too, but it's fully turnkey, comes fully furnished, going to be move-in ready. And they do have that in-house rental management company if you don't want to deal with the rentals. And then last but not least is the financing. This is such an anomaly in the marketplace to have financing that's 75% financing over a 10-year term. Standard seller financing, if you've listened to Job or me and our YouTubes before, you probably know that standard seller financing here is a 3 to 5 year term, 8 to 10% interest. So this goes for a longer period of time and allows you the opportunity to put less than the standard down. This is Soul Suites right over here. The pool and pool decking area will go right over here. The boardwalk will be in front of phase one, the phase one condos, phase two condos here, and then phase three condos right over here. So with that being said, we'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to us here at tgal@lunarealtybelize.com. That email comes to both Job and me, or I know we had some folks register through Job, some for me. Feel free to reach out to whoever you registered through, and we'd be happy to get your questions answered for you. We have additional resources that we're going to send your way if you're interested, including the resource guide with the floor plans, the FAQ guide, the sales paperwork, and a brochure so that you have all the information at your fingertips. From there, you'll choose the perfect condo for you. We'll prepare the paperwork for you, and then the funds will be transferred and voila. Now, there's a little bit more in that closing process. We do work with a closing company, so 10% will be deposited into an escrow account while the closing company is doing the due diligence, make sure the title's clean and clear. And then once we get the check on the due diligence, then we're going to move to closing. If you're going to be financing, then that next 15% would be due, and your monthly payments are going to begin the first of the month following close. If you're not financing, then you'll be putting 80% in, and then a 20% will be held back until the building is handed over to you. We are anticipating, or the building, maybe not the whole building, but your specific unit, we are anticipating an open date for Q1 of 2026. The nice part about this developer is he is not depending on sales to get the property completed. He actually didn't know if he was going to be selling it initially. He thought he may want to keep it, but after seeing that there is just such a demand in the marketplace, it made sense to be doing strata titles for the properties and selling them off. So with that, I'm going to open the floor to questions. Job, is there anything that you would like to add, or maybe I haven't touched upon here? We see your golf cart.
Yeah, well, you see my golf cart now. I'm in front of the building. But you know, seriously, guys, those who follow me on YouTube know that I'm very upfront and honest about of what I see of what's going on. I can tell you that at least for what you can see as is, and this type of unit, and Rachel can share with you guys too as well. I have been tracking the market since 2021. So I haven't been a full on independent agent since 2021, but I've been tracking the market when I worked for an agent in the Keller Williams company. So I have approximately 5 years of data for what resales are going for what developments came into the market. And I can tell you that the prices that we're offering here or what is available now is you really can't find it anywhere else. And secondly, again, back to hammering the point of what Rachel mentioned was the financing. The financing, pretty unheard of. And one detail that Rachel didn't mention about the short-term financing that sellers sometimes offer is that they usually want 50% down. This guy here wants 25% down. And the reality of it, one of the questions that a lot of people always have about developments here in the island is, will it ever get completed? Well, let me tell you, you can see the entire building up here. You saw it for yourselves while I was videoing, full concrete. We have that. And the reality is this developer does not need the funds or the sales to finish this building. He can do it on his own. He's seen, like how Rachel said, the niche on the market on what. Let me share to you a little bit of how this project came to be. And I'm not sure if we have time for it, Rachel. We got a
Yes,
little time.
Go ahead, please.
So this developer owns had a significant amount of properties, and I sold a house, and you can probably still find that house in my listing in my website for 135,000. Let me tell you, I had about three other buyers after telling me, Joe, we're ready to buy this house. We need something like this, small, 400 square feet, standalone home type of thing. And I told him, I called him up and I said, hey, I know you can build a couple of these houses in a couple lots that you have. What are you thinking? Would you like to pull it off? I have some buyers ready to move. I know you can do financing, very affordable financing. We can make this happen. He said, you know what? You remember the building up north that I'm doing? We can just try to title those. And I told him, we need to stay under 200,000 or around that price point because there isn't anything in the market. And he said, you know what, Joe? Let me run the numbers. Let me run the math and see if I can pull it off. A couple weeks later, he called me up and he said, Joe, we can pull it off. Let's make it happen. Give me what we need. And that was a couple months ago. I've been excited and waiting, and I've been really, Rachel can tell you, I've been weeks ago. I'll be like, should we just start? Should we just,
Oh,
because
let's
there is no,
go.
and Rachel is like, we gotta have everything ready. And then so now the good thing is we have almost everything ready for you guys to move on this. We didn't want to show up and be running around trying to get things in order. Nope. Rachel was able to hold me down. She was able to tell me, Joe, you just gotta have patience. So that's where we are now when it comes to this development. And that's about it. That's what I gotta share for you guys.
Well, thank you, Job. I love it. And see a couple questions here that have popped up. Chris said, do they allow dogs? Yes, up to 2 dogs will be allowed. Crystal is saying, utilities, will they be off grid? Oh, great question. And I'm sorry we didn't address this earlier, but no, this is actually going to be an on grid for electricity. You can see the power lines right over there. I see Job is showing those. So this will be connected to the grid. Each unit will have its own individual meter. So you'll only be paying for the electricity that your unit uses. For water, there is a well. They actually dug a well, and that will be used for the water source. So that is good to note there, but the well is already done. I saw them doing that maybe about a month or two ago. So good question there, Crystal. Rodney is saying, how much are the CAM fees? I'm thinking you mean the HOA. Yes, I see Cameron saying that too. So we're just fine tuning that. That one we're looking at about $175 for the studio or the 1 bedroom, and then closer to 300 for the 2 bedrooms. And so we have a list of everything that it includes, based on their experience of having the resort and based on his experience of being in business here in Belize for his entire life. He was able to do a pretty close estimate to what we think it's going to be. Those HOA fees are valid for the first year, and then we reassess to look at numbers thereafter. That's pretty standard for new builds. If anything, I think they're probably going to be more than enough and have some left in reserve, but it's going to cover the landscaping. It'll cover the upkeep of the amenities, so the pool, the decking area. It's going to cover, what am I missing, Job? Security during the evenings. It's going to be covering upkeep of the exterior of the building, the upkeep of the areas. I think I mentioned that, but we have all that mentioned in the FAQ guide. If you just email us there, we'll be able to get those details over to you. Is there anything to reduce the mosquito breeding in the lagoon? Oh, that's a great question. So, I mean, typically the breeze alone helps that, but there are systems like biomist that can help to spray the surrounding area. We probably won't want to spray in the lagoon. If they want to keep breeding in the lagoon, they can certainly do that. However, amongst the land and where we are, of course, we don't want mosquitoes. So yes, there are certainly ways to keep the mosquitoes away from us. And actually, the higher you are in floors, the less mosquitoes you have. They don't want to be in the breeze and trying to fight the breeze. So just a heads up there, Jeff, go for the 3rd floor unit. Les is saying anticipated rent for each unit and expected occupant for rentals. We can run those numbers for you. We haven't, because the developer is not necessarily selling these with the intention of it only being a rental property or investment property, but we can certainly run the numbers for you just based on projections. I mean, if you can estimate, when you go to Belize Tourism Board's website, BTB, there's a statistics section, and you can look there to see the average island occupancy and whatnot, and then you can look for comparable properties for rent. I'd say average island occupancy right now is about 60%. And then the rent for each, so the average daily rate for these would probably range from about 75 to $150 a year or a month, not a year, a night rather, and then probably higher up for the higher floors. Crystal is saying insurance, will this be included? Property looks nice. Okay, so yes, insurance is going to be something that the HOA is going to get for the entire property, and then each condo owner is going to be billed for their portion of it. So that's something at least that the property, the HOA is going to put together. So you don't need to try to get your own insurance. My concern is we need to have a golf cart because they're quite a ways from downtown. Well, I got the perfect solution for you, Crystal, is Amber Isle buses just started. We have 2 buses that go north, 2 in town and 2 on the south side. But I would say if you're somebody who needs to be like not planning to have a golf cart, then you probably would need to be closer to town anyway. But we just tend to see that golf carts are the standard mode of transportation here. If you're living here, 99% of the time you're going to have a transportation vehicle of some sort, whether it's a golf cart, an e-bicycle. We've seen those. One of our friends, Rana, she's at about 10 miles north. She drives her e-bike down into town. So there's certainly thoughts about that. But Crystal, next time you're here, you should try the Amber Isle buses. They're very, very nice.
So, Rachel, if I may also share too as well. For reference, guys, this location is just a quarter mile past the Sea Beach cutoff.
Yes.
And there will also be, if you've probably seen my Sea Beach market update for 2025, you'd see that actually, let me turn around. Look at the bus here as it's passing by.
Oh, there
The
it
bus right there.
is. Just imagine that, Crystal. There we go. That's the Amber Isle bus.
So,
I love it.
yeah, that's the bus there. It runs up and down all the way from town, but also the gas station is just going to be a quarter mile away, and the gas station will also have a grocery shop as well. So you'll have that accessibility. But back to what Rachel mentioned, if you're gonna be in the island and you want to be living full time or for longer months at a time periods, you definitely want to rent a golf cart long term where Rachel and I have had experience with that, and we can give you what that looks like depending on the season, or B, also buy your own golf cart, which there will be designated spaces for that. So that's about that.
Yeah, fantastic. Yes, good parking. There will be certainly be parking for each of them too. So Michael is saying, is there a central HVAC system? They're going to be split AC units in each of the units. So no central AC. And you do tend to find here, Michael, that split AC is what's the most common. It's easiest to maintain as well. So I think you've been here before, Michael, but you can probably notice it in some of the other units. All right. Let's see. Jeff is saying, is the closest beach public access? How long of the walk, if so? So Soul Suites is right over here. And there are a few different points where you can go in. I think when I came by yesterday, I went down this way and then you're able to get to the beach.
Actually, right just north of the fruit stand and deli, Rachel.
Yeah, right over here.
Also, a little bit right there at Indigo. And
Yeah.
if you realize right there where it says Sundiver, there are 2 beach point accesses there too as well. And Hidden Jewel, if you're consuming there, or you can always pass through Hidden Jewel and walk up to the beach too as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hidden Jewel is actually the property that the developer owns. So I'm sure there's going to be some really nice synergies between that Hidden Jewel, and they have a delicious restaurant there. That's where they have the pool, where as long as you're consuming, you're able to use, and they have a nice beachfront. Oh, Garrick, this is a great question. And actually something that Job and I have been talking to the developer about is storage units. Yes. So he is looking to be building storage units where we're trying to figure out where on the property that we're going to do that. If you can see Job's screen, Joe, if you just point to it a little bit, it's going to be closer to the roadside. But yes, we're just figuring out the best sizes to be building because as we can see, the units are cozy. There's not tons of storage in there while they're going to be best utilizing every nook and cranny. If you want to leave your dive gear or you want to leave a kayak or something along those lines within the condo, it's not going to work. So the storage units would be perfect for that. But we'll confirm with you once we get the sizes. If there's anything specific that you were looking to store, just let us know. And then because we haven't constructed them yet, we can always look at doing a certain size. Rodney is saying, does the rental program cover marketing as well? So yes, they will be covering the marketing for the property. I'm going to guess that you mean like trying to attract guests and everything along those lines. They will be doing that. Now they're still going to rely on other OTAs, online travel agencies like Booking.com, Expedia, TripAdvisor, but for them to put together their own website for Soul Suites where people are able to book through there, yes, that is certainly something they're going to be doing. So I know we promised people about an hour, and I think we're just upon that hour. I know Job and I live in Belize, but we don't always like to be in Belize time. So today we're trying to be as prompt as possible. These have been really, really fantastic questions that have been asked. I really appreciate seeing so many people joining us live. We are going to be putting this up on YouTube. So for all of us, I know many of you do watch Job and me on YouTube. So of course, thank you for that. But as you have any other questions that pop up, please reach out to Job and me. We're really happy to get those questions answered for you. For us, what we understand is that being the first gives you the chance to pick the unit, the condo that you want, and not just what's left. So by coming in at this point, you are coming in at a fantastic time. Just let us know what you are considering, and we can best guide you towards the condo that makes the most sense for you. All right, Job, any parting words before we hop off here? Nice.
As Rachel will be able to tell. Can you see my face or you see the road?
No, we see the road.
You see my face now?
Yes, there's that handsome face.
As one of the funny thing is that um one of my previous buyers reached out to me and they've been wanting to buy a condo. And quite possibly after we've done the deal with them, we probably could get them on a video. They've been wanting to buy a condo forever, but reality is they don't have the amount of cash because, in the States, you can get a mortgage, all that stuff. They came here and I had completely forgotten about it, that they had been looking for a condo. They bought a lot with me. They don't want to build. They want a condo now. And I went out with them for lunch and they have been in Belize for about 3, 4 years now. So they've been looking and looking. Nothing has ever really popped up to them. Then they told me about the condo, and I said, "Wait, haven't you seen my emails on the condos?" It's like, "Yeah, no, we hadn't." And I was like, "Ah, interesting." After lunch, brought them up here, showed them the unit, showed them all the paperwork that we were. This was 2 days ago. They said, "Job, we want this. Send us the documents. We'll put in the escrow because we do not want anyone else to take it from them." They've been in the island or are looking for something for the past, I have to double check, but at least more than 2 years. They saw the opportunity of the perfect unit with the perfect financing that they have always been looking for. They did have to compromise on the size because ideally they wanted something bigger, but because they have been looking, they realized that they aren't gonna get any bigger for this price point at this financing, and that's how we got them in to this. And we are on the works of reservation, and you guys can be next. So make sure you reach out and make sure you hop on this because then you will regret it if you don't.
And I see Rodney is saying, is there a fee to reserve one of the units? So there's not a fee to reserve one of the units, but what happens is if you are interested in one, then you'll send us your due diligence, which includes your passport, your driver's license, and also a utility bill showing your current address. And then from there, we'll prepare the paperwork for you. You typically have about 3 to 4 days to go through the paperwork. And then from there, once you agree with it, you'll sign off on it. The seller will sign off on it. And then you have another 4 or 5 days to fund the 10% earnest deposit into escrow. Once it's in escrow, then we go through the due diligence, which is ensuring that there's clean title, all of that. Once the closing company confirms that the due diligence checks off, then from there, you're going to move to close. So that would be if you're financing, then the next 15% would be due. If you're not financing, then you're going to be paying down, you're going to be paying that other 65%. So I'd say, Rodney, the best thing to do is just reach out to us and let us know which one you are interested in. We can start sending the paperwork. The sales paperwork is actually part of our resources overview here. So if you do want to see that, of course, obviously before committing, we can do that for you. Now, the one thing we are waiting for from the attorney is the rental management agreement. However, Job and I have talked it through with the seller. So we can just make that part of the contingency is that you need to see the rental management agreement before you close on the property or move forward. So we can, of course, make sure you're protected there. All right. I know we've gone a little bit after the hour here. So thank you guys so much for joining. Job, thank you so much for the virtual tour. That was awesome. I'm sure everyone appreciates being able to see it live versus just on the floor plans there. Folks, we look forward to hearing from you. Job, any final words before we hop off? Oh, you're on mute.
We are good, guys. Just reach out. We'd love to get you in Belize.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Have a great evening.